The Tortoise and His Wife Folktale. The tortoise and his wife had been married for a while, but they had no children. They had tried the homes of many herbalists and medicine men, but none of them could find a cure for the barrenness of Tortoise's wife. At last, a neighbor told them of a herbalist who lived in a nearby village. Tortoise went to meet the herbalist and to explain his wife's condition and her inability to conceive to him. The herbalist took pity on Tortoise when he heard his story, so he prepared a pot of stew with meat in it for the tortoise to take home to his wife. He told Tortoise that all his wife needed to do was to eat at least a piece of meat from the stew, and she would get pregnant within a month. He, however, warned Tortoise that nobody else apart from Tortoise's wife was allowed to eat the meat in the stew or even taste the stew itself. Tortoise accepted the pot of stew and thanked the herbalist for his help. On his way home, however, the tortoise could not resist the delicious aroma of the pot of stew. He tried his best to keep the herbalist's word that he would not taste of the stew. However, Tortoise got to the point where he could not resist anymore. He opened the pot of stew and said to himself, "My wife only needs to eat one of these pieces of meat, and she will get pregnant. There is nothing wrong if I, as the husband, eat one piece as well." So Tortoise took a piece of meat and ate it. It tasted delicious, so he took another one and ate it as well. Tortoise took the rest of the stew to his wife, feeling quite pleased with himself. However, a few hours later, Tortoise started to feel some pains in his stomach. At first, he thought it was just some routine pains, but the pains continued to increase, and his stomach started to swell up like that of a pregnant woman. That was when Tortoise realized that it was the meat he ate, in disobedience of the herbalist's instructions, that caused his sudden and mysterious ailment. He quickly called on some neighbors to help him get to the herbalist's house. As they helped him along, he started to sing, "Herbalist, I have come to plead with you. The pot of stew you made for me earlier, that you told me not to eat out of, I touched the stew and ate some of it. I looked at my stomach, it had become swollen. Herbalist, I have come to plead with you." By this time, Tortoise's stomach had swollen to the point bursting, and he was at the point of death. Fortunately, the herbalist heard the tortoise singing from afar, and he quickly guessed that the tortoise had disobeyed the instructions he was given and was in trouble. He quickly rushed out to the people who were carrying Tortoise and gave him the antidote to the pregnancy-inducing stew to drink. Soon, Tortoise's pains disappeared, and his swollen stomach began to shrink until it was back to the way it was. From that day, Tortoise learned his lesson. He learned to not be greedy and to never disregard warnings in future. Don't forget to subscribe.